So I've just added a 10-minute somatic meditation for helping you release chronic pain or emotional pain. To the end of this video, it should be around minute 33. So if you don't want to watch the talk in the video, you can just go right to the end to watch the meditation. But I wanted to share this so that people could actually feel what we discuss in the video. Everything in life has pendulation. What is this term? Well, it's just very simply the ebb and flow of our energy. And here in the jungle, we see it in so many places. We see it in the growth of the flowers. We see it in the weather. You know, the sun comes out and then it rains here and it can absolutely pour. And then the sun comes back out again. And when we go out to the ocean, we also see the ebb and the flow of the sea. So I've been thinking a lot about this issue because we're creating the retreats, and in the process of creating the retreats, it's been so amazing to talk with different mentors and to work with different therapists and study different ideas. And part of our fire ceremony that we do on the very first day when people arrive here, it has to do with the ebb and the flow of our trauma experiences that we've had. So when people arrive here, we ask them, and you can do this yourself, you don't need to have a big ceremony. It's just as powerful to do it on your own. So what we do is you arrive and we give you a workbook, and in the workbook we ask everyone to write down all the things, all of their extra baggage and all the things that they no longer feel are serving for their highest purpose or their greatest life. And sometimes it can just be simple things. You're struggling with depression, or you don't understand certain issues that you're having in your life. And I think I'll just here, because I just wanted to take everyone around and show them a little bit the beautiful jungle, but it's easier for me to just concentrate if I just come to a safe place where I feel comfortable talking. So when you arrive, what we do is we just have you write down on a piece of paper. It's kind of a beautiful piece of paper because I just wanted it to be like symbolic of a beautiful place where you can deposit the things that no longer serve your highest good, because I think everyone knows you don't need a therapist to sit down and talk to you for hours about the things that you probably don't need in your life anymore. We all know what they are, the things that are holding us back. I wake up every morning and I have a cup of coffee, and I know it just doesn't serve me well because it makes me a little more kind of jittery and nervous, and it's just an example. But that cup of coffee in the morning, I really wish I could just stop drinking it and maybe wake up in the morning and have just a little kind of more like my energy just being a little bit more balanced. And I know that coffee just really affects me, and I always drink pretty strong cup. So I've come to realize, like, oh my god, every morning I wake up and I drug myself in the morning with my super strong cup of coffee, and then I get up and I start doing my day, and I'm aware of that. I know that this is something that at some point in the right moment I will probably take on this moment to say, like, okay, let's stop doing this coffee thing. And I think we all have moments in our lives where we have our coffee thing. Some things are like I had a very difficult trauma in childhood, and that trauma, I need to let it go, and I know I need to let it go, but just haven't gotten to that place or in the moment yet where I even really want to take a look and go down that rabbit hole and do something about it to heal it. But I love the post that Abdall had on his community blog. He puts a photo of pendulism, and he puts a photo of the pendulum going to, I'll put it up on the video. He puts the pendulum going to the unhappy and then to the happy, and to the unhappy and the happy. And a lot of psychologists and therapists and people are calling this, bipolar disorder. Can you all relate? We've all had friends and people, and we've all had moments in our lives where we've felt kind of bipolar as well. And I think it's something that people feel like they're not able to swing back and forth. And I remember when I first got together with my partner, with my life partner, Aurelio. And I remember that the swings that we were experiencing, even in the relationship, were going from one pendulum to the other. This amazing ecstasy of connection, and then this separation, and then this connection and this separation. People in the twin flame soulmate community talk about going into separation. And it's exactly the same thing. This emotional swing of ebb and flow, of pendulism, like Peter Levine is an amazing PTSD expert for trauma and somatic therapy, and he's the one that coined this phrase. And he talks about how the body, in this moment tenses up with the traumas and then goes into the other state where it opens, and then it tenses again. And we use this process to help us heal all these different issues. So instead of doing formal videos about, trying to do the video very concise, I think I'm just going to start kind of vlogging for everyone and talking about the different mentors and how I came to the realizations I've come to in order to offer the retreats and experience that we have here in Hokhmah, because it's very hard to kind of bring it all down into a 5-minute thing when you're talking about so many different mentors, so many different mindsets and therapies and things. And sometimes it's fun to just talk about it with everyone and keep it casual. So I'm going to try to change up the style a little bit. So I think when you have that ebb and flow in your relationship, it's an amazing thing because you keep it regenerated. When he moves away from me, I move towards him. He moves towards me, and I enjoy it, and I move away from him. And we took that swing of that pendulum from being quite, from one side to the other, to just being a more simple ebb and flow that works and that's in balance. Because I do think that the ebb and flow is natural, and we don't recognize it as humans. We think, and we're trained and taught, and one of the largest belief systems that we're all facing is that we feel like we have to be on the flow all the time. And it doesn't work that way. When you start understanding that life is about the ebb as well. And the ebb, what is it? It's like dropping into the more lower emotional energies, dropping into times of sadness, reflection, healing, dropping into moments of calm, depression, moments of just lower energy, going back and forth, and then going back into the beautiful, wow, ecstasy moments of life. You see the sunrise, of flowers growing, you connect with a squirrel that's running up the tree. It's just so beautiful, and you go into that, and you go into the flow state, the creative state, and then you go back into the ebb again. You go, and if you can learn to modulate your energy and modulate the positive, beautiful, connected, and modulate the withdrawal of your own energy, and understand that this is natural, because most people, they're pendulating back and forth, and then they're feeling guilty and they're feeling bad because they're not able to maintain that flow state 100% of the time. And if we don't understand, if we don't look into nature, and we don't look into the natural state of everything in life, the moon, our bodies. Women go through pendulation every month. Men go through pendulation in much larger periods of time. But they do hit places and times in their life where they also go through hormonal pendulation as well. And it's very interesting because they're not used to that. Whereas women have to get used to it. And then by the time women are past all that, and they're in a more flow type state that stays a little more calm, men go into pendulation and hormonally. And I guess we're here to help them because most guys don't have a clue what's going on when they go into that pendulation of hormonal fluctuation when they go through their andropause. By then, most women are in menopause if they have partners, so they can help their husbands, if there's enough trust and love, to pass through that more sensitive emotional time. For guys, it's a pendulation of almost a whole lifetime, whereas with women we go through that pendulation every month. So if you see that, even in hydroponics they talk about ebb and flow, and it's the pendulation of how the water fills up the tray and then goes into the plant system, and they use that. It's a law of the universe. They use the law of ebb and flow to feed the plants in hydroponics, and they call it ebb and flow. So if we understand it in hydroponics, and we understand it in, the cycles of the moon and the cycles of the ocean flowing out and coming back, in the cycle of a flower, a flower comes out and it's so beautiful, and then it dies. And we don't say, no, we want the flower. We just let it die and another flower comes. We don't worry about it. We have to learn to accept in our lives exactly the same process and take it as part of everything. We push ourselves so hard to move forward and get ahead, and we need to also take moments and times to just be calm and just take it easy and not always be on the flow side. If you're just always looking for flow, you're gonna get burnt out really easily. And it's just as important to take on the ebb as well, because that's part of our healing. And if we don't get to a place where we can start to ebb as well, the emotions that we feel, to be able to take those into our body. And this is what Peter Levine is talking about in Somatic Therapy. There's emotions in our body that are stored that all of us don't want to face, and we don't want to see them, and we don't want to feel them. But that's the childish response towards trauma, because when you're a child, you have to understand that you got those feelings at a time when you were not able as a mature adult to handle them. You did not understand why you felt so terrified, so afraid, so hurt. Of course you felt terrified and afraid and hurt as a child. You were not given the support. All of us, every single human being was not given the 100% support of having their mother and their father always there for them in every single moment. So what they do with the somatic therapy and the pendulation experience is it take you into a place where you are able to go into your body and really feel the things. And then as you remember or think in a safe place as an adult, with someone helping you, if it's a serious trauma, or if it's just a small, basic trauma, things that happen to all of us, you can do this by yourself. Just find a safe space and breathe and relax, and then go into a place where you remember how you felt and what happened to you, and then analyze in that moment the reaction, the physical reaction in your body. What happened to your body? How did you close off? When I think about how I felt as a child, and there was a time when I was about 11 years old. It even makes me want to cough when I think about it. When I was 11, my mom had to go to work full time and study her career at night. And Mom did this out of love for all of us, because there just wasn't enough money. Like families now, I understand it now as an adult, because families now, they can't support their family with just one salary. So a lot of times now, the mother and the father have to work So we're bringing up a huge generation of children that do not have the parenting, the time and the attention that maybe we all need. And it's just a reality now of the way families are moving forward. So I remember at 11 years old, my mom was with me all the time when I was a baby and a child till 11. So I had her constant. She is a wonderful mom. She's just a beautiful person. So I was so lucky because I had a best friend and I had a playmate, and I learned so much from her. She was teaching me to cook and how to keep my room clean, and she was just a wonderful mom, just encouraging and loving. And then all of a sudden, can you imagine? She was just gone. And she had so much to worry about because she was, working for the first time in years in a full-time job in an accounting firm, starting out as like an assistant there, and then taking her CGA in her accounting at nighttime. And she was so smart, so she was able to get into the program and do that, but it was hard work. And she had to focus all her energy into her, her goal to help our family. And the pressure that my dad always had economically, she just, out of love, she went and did that for all of us. But when you're 11 years old and all of a sudden you're alone, I had an older brother, so I was old enough to kind of take care of myself, and he was kind of there, as an older, he was maybe 16 or 17 when I was 11. So yeah, he was there, but I was just very isolated at that time. And a lot of things would scare me, and it was funny because I remember going out to the backyard to play, and I'd call Mom at work, and she'd be like, well, if you ever see like a man walking down the back alley or something like that, make sure you come inside, don't stay playing in the yard. Because sometimes in our back alley where we lived in Vancouver, there'd be a guy with a, grocery cart and collecting stuff from the garbage or whatever. And when you're 11 years old and you see a man in the back alley, you feel really scared. You go running inside really fast, and you're just aware that you're alone and that it's a little bit, not cool, right? So, my brother was there, and, the house was safe and everything. And we lived in a really good neighborhood. So there was no, reason for things to be this way. But it created in me a situation where, in our circle, in our church, we didn't have any other children my age. So there was no friends that, I could have had maybe playmates and other kinds of interactions with people, but there wasn't anyone. So it was a very difficult time for me as a child, and it created a huge abandoned wound. And as an adult, it's taken me a long time to, understand how I can work through that issue. And it seems silly to me, and we were talking about this yesterday. We're working with an incredible therapist who's coming to help people with addiction therapy, and he's a real expert at this, and we were going into it, and we were talking with my partner, and my partner had lost both his parents at 11 and 12 years old. And yet, Pepe told us, he's like, well, Melanie's trauma as a child of abandonment at 11 years old, even though she didn't lose her mother and father the way you did, for her, it's just as devastating, as the trauma that he felt losing both his parents at that age. And I thought, well, how could that be, he considers his situation, so much more difficult and so much worse, and Pepe gave us the example of, he was in an Alcoholics Anonymous group, and he said he saw this guy getting up on the podium to talk there, and he was just so upset. He was so upset because he was missing 5,000 pesos to buy the Porsche that he wanted. And Pepe was sitting there watching this guy, and Pepe was thinking to himself, oh my God, I'd just be happy if I had 5,000 pesos to pay my rent. This guy's crazy. And one of the counselors there came to him and said, no, his situation is no different than yours. his mind believes and sees things the way it believes and sees things. And it's exactly the same thing that happens with any of the issues we deal with. I was upset and lonely and sad. And it caused a lot of problems for me to learn how to have friendships and become social, because if you don't have those social interactions in puberty, when you're a little bit older, you feel a little bit more nervous and scared around people, and you're not quite sure how they're going to react. And it took me a long time to work those skills to be more extroverted, and I was always really good at talking, but I wasn't so great at actually being with people and dealing with people's energies, because it was just my energy growing up. There was no one else's energy growing up. So as I got older, I had to relearn a lot of things that I didn't learn because I was by myself as a child. So when you take that into yourself, and I sit here and I go, okay, so what does that feel like in my body? Because this is what we do with pendulism in therapy with people. We take it into our body and we say, okay, so what does my body do when I imagine being alone and not having anyone and being sad and scared and just too much time by myself? And the first thing that happens is my shoulders go forward. Interestingly enough, it's always something I didn't like about myself, that my shoulders weren't back more. So I curl up into myself. Interestingly enough, my dad also, now that he's older, he has curved shoulders, so he's a little like a turtle, like a little turtle now that he's 74, and now at 74, it's almost impossible for him to be able to work on that. And I go, okay, I'm 49, so I should be working on this, even now. But how can I open up my body and my energy if I'm still protecting that hurt? That hurt little girl that felt so lonely as a child, So what you do with pendulism is you go into the feeling inside yourself, and you let your body curl up, if that's your natural instinct. And then you open. And you open and you take all the flow in, the beautiful nature, the jungle, the morning light, the sunlight coming up, the green, the trees, and you open up your energy. And you take a deep breath and you exhale and relax your body, and you start to become consciously aware, because you are a conscious, responsible, aware adult. So as an adult, you control that part of the little inner child. You control, you heal, you're responsible, you love, you take care of it, and all of the things that are happening to you are your responsibility. And it sounds harsh when if you say that to someone in a strong way. Hey, if you're not happy, it's because you're not, thinking happy thoughts, and it's not the way to approach it with people. You have to approach this with a loving, soft way, So come into yourself and say, hey, you don't have to feel lonely or scared anymore, because I'll make sure, So what have I done with my life? I've built a holistic center where we have 10 rooms, where we can have 20 or 30 people here. And I can fill my life up with beautiful, wonderful people that are on a healing journey, that are passionate about personal growth and healing and nature and the beautiful tropical, Mexican culture. I've created a life for myself that little girl desired to have. Because as an adult, I can create anything I want for myself, and I can create the beautiful moments. But it's not all about happy and people and party and let's do this all together. It's about, okay, taking this time to make this video to share with others, and then taking time to have, interactions. I give Aurelio his space. He needs space to heal and work on his things. now I don't let him be the one to always do the ebb and flow in the relationship. Sometimes I do. You know, I'm like sitting there this morning and the video is kind of brewing in my mind, and I'm like, I'm just going to try to do these videos as a vlogging style now instead of, you know, trying to be so concise, because it just works better for me. Besides, it's healing for me to come out and talk through these things, because as I talk through them and teach them and give examples, I'm also working and healing myself. Half of making these videos is to share, and half of making the video is, you know, for me to have a place where I can work through and understand and think about all these things. And it's a wonderful experience. So sometimes I move away from him. And sometimes he moves away from me, and now I trust him and he trusts me. You know, if I get up in the morning and he sees that I'm really inspired to make a video, you know, he doesn't try to hold me back. Hey, you know, you're gonna make my breakfast and you can keep me there. He understands that if I get a video brewing in my mind in the morning and I want to come out and start to express the, you know, energy and the flow that's coming through me, he lets me go out and do my thing. And then when I finish the video, okay, so come back in, chat, make his breakfast. Let's have our breakfast and, you know, get the day going. And that the fact that I recognize the ebb and flow in our relationship, the pendulism. Thank you very much, Peter Levine, for that phrase. In our relationship is a beautiful thing. Because he used to be the one to push me away because of my abandonment issues as a child. I always wanted to be, I wanted to be there all the time, you know. But I think it's one of the things that women often don't understand about men. You know, men understand pendulism when it comes to relationships because they need to go into their man cave. They need to go off with their man friends. They need to go off and do their male exploring, hunting. Most guys, and this is generalizing, of course. And then they come back. And when they come back, they have energy. Their testosterone levels go up, and they have energy to come and share their energy with you as a woman. So we have to understand this, but women can also do this. Women can also take a moment and pull back and pull away and go and do the things they love. And that's what makes a woman who has their own life set up. We've been telling women this for years. Do your passion, do your life, have your creative things, because when your man sees you doing all those things for yourself, he's like, wow, this is a woman I want to be with. She gives me my space, she's active, she helps provide as well. It's not just putting all the pressure on me. You know, a lot of women, especially here in the Latin culture, are still keeping the belief system that the guy has to provide you with, you know, the money and the home and all the things. But it just doesn't work that way, because if the guy has to go out and provide all the money, all the abundance, and look after you in every way, when they come home, they have nothing left to give you. So these guys are coming home exhausted, and when they come home to a woman that's just been sitting there waiting for him to give her everything, she's not doing anything creative, so she needs a lot of attention and energy. He's going to come home and he's not going to have it, you know. So this is something I had to learn. You got to go out there yourself. You got to make your own, create your own. You know, the best thing that ever happened to me was, you know, when I worked in projects with other people, because I always wanted to help. I always wanted to be like the support team for the man that I was with. And I wanted to help them with their business, and I wanted to help them with their life mission and their projects. But I didn't understand how I was sacrificing my own dreams and my own purpose and my own creation. You know, and then finally, after 17 years of working in a project, one of my ex-partners, 2 ex-partners ago, of a 17-year-old relationship, said to me, if you want something like what I've created, why don't you make it for yourself? And it was just such a shock, because as a couple, we had been working together to create an ecological park. We were working together on his ecological park, on his project for his family. And he had 2 children from his former wife. So it was not something I wanted any of that for myself, but I did assume that if we were working together on the project to help his family and his children, and that there would be some kind of security for us as a couple. And he looked at me and said, no, there isn't. This is my project. And I was just like, oh my gosh, And when he said to me, if you want something like what I had, go make your own, that's when I started Hokhmah. Because in that moment I thought to myself, holy crap, I better get moving. I've been doing other people's projects and other people's lives and helping other people now for 20 years of my life. And now it's time to start, and now 20 years later, now there's a retreat center with a hotel in the jungle. Oh my goodness, we finally finished the swimming pool, and we're just finishing now the temazcal to do like the sauna. Because in December, it's not as hot here as people think sometimes when they come on vacation to Cancun in December. They think it's going to be really warm, and sometimes it's not quite as hot as they think it's going to be, So pendulation is just that. It's just that ebb and flow of learning, When I had to draw the energy back into myself and figure out what I was going to do, I had a really clear vision of this place as a holistic center, and I just kept working towards that. And now that we're creating the programs and the fire ceremony that we do, it's going to be a really beautiful experience for people, because it's exactly the same. You're going to arrive here and you're going to have the connection drink, which is going to connect you to the beautiful tropical fruits and herbs and natural from the Mayan region. And then I send everyone into their room and say, hey, you're going to write down, without putting a lot of deep emotional energy into it, the things that that you need to let go of or resolve or learn to modulate in your life. Just write them on a piece of paper. And then we're going to combine the old ancient fire ceremonies, which people have been doing for thousands of years. We're going to take that fire ceremony and we're going to take that piece of paper and physically make that commitment to let go of those tensions, traumas, this baggage that we're carrying with us. We'll let you bring your baggage into your room, but the stuff that you don't need in your baggage, we're going to take it and put it in the fire. But at the same time, we're going to combine it with the pendulation and the somatic therapy, so that people can actually become more aware in their body where they're holding that baggage. Because you're going to throw that piece of paper into the fire, but it's not going to do any good to throw it into the fire if you don't actually remove it from at a cellular level where you're holding those things in your body, and then start consciously making the effort to release. And as you do healing, it's always an ebb and flow. You release one thing and you feel this ecstatic, you just feel so free, and then another thing comes up, or you're not able to release it 100%, so you go back into the ebb, and you go back down into the feelings, emotional feelings, and you go back into the fear in your animal mind and your emotional body. And that's when, as an adult, you have to do that parenting and that self-love and bring yourself back into a conscious realization. And we can teach you how to be able to change the energy again and go into the flow state. So pendulism is a flow state, the ebb and the flow of the universe, and it's the most natural part of healing, and we need to understand this process. So find a quiet place and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Deep breath in, and as you exhale, relax your body. Another deep breath in. Drop your mental body or your mind into your heart center, in the center of your chest. That beautiful heart, like a big golden sun ball, radiating out from your chest into the universe. Let's just drop the mind down into that place. Exhale. Just feel as you exhale, the energy, the mental energy of your mind just dropping into your heart. And another deep breath in. And connect yourself to the beautiful love of the Mother Earth that's always there to give us the mother loving energy, and to the beautiful masculine father protective energy of the universe. We have our safe balance of masculine and feminine energy present in the energy field of our body. Always start these energetic practices in this place. This is your peaceful, beautiful, self-loving place. It's safe, warm, loving, full of light. It's always available for you in the center of your heart at any moment. Now just take your awareness and find a place in your body that's still holding tension, physical or emotional tension, or physical or emotional pain. It doesn't matter. We know that our physical pain is just a reflection as well of unresolved emotional evolutionary experiences that we've had. I like to call them that so that we recognize that we're here to grow and learn. So all the experiences that we've had that have created our traumas, and we were recipients of those experiences, but we were not ever victims of them. So we use those experiences to our highest good for our evolution and growth. When we understand this, it's easier for us to work with those feelings and those places in our body where we're holding the pain physically or emotionally. So take a moment to just breathe through and feel where you're holding the tension and stress and pain. Exhale out and relax. Try to just relax into the feeling. You're safe in this place, so you can see or feel anything in this moment and you will be just fine. And bring your awareness back to the beautiful warmth of the sun ball in your heart center. Just feel that warm, radiating light in your heart center, expanding out. Take a deep breath in and fill yourself with that beautiful, balanced sun ball, radiating warmth. This is your beautiful, protected mother and father place, where you always have this energy available to you at any moment. Now go back to that place in your body where you're feeling pain, tension. Relax a little deeper into the feeling. Exhale and send the energy down into the earth through your feet. Just exhale out. Just feel all the tension. Just leaving your body. And take a deep breath in. Just feel the flow again. And move your focus of your energy back to the heart center. And let's take another beautiful drink from our incredible sun ball of warmth, light, and balanced protected energy. I noticed that the second time I went back to the physical, emotional pain in my body, I realized that each time I go back, I feel less pain and it's less intense. So now this time, take a little bit of that Sambal energy with you as you move into, transition your focus to the area in your body where you feel that pain, or you're feeling the emotions in your solar plexus and your emotional body, or the place where you're holding the tension in your body. I'm feeling it more in my shoulder and my neck, but you might be feeling it in your leg, in your hand. Everyone has a place where they tend to focus the tension in the body. Or you might be feeling a hard knot in your solar plexus. These are just examples to help you find the place. Move your focus around and find those tension spots and emotional energies. And now just feel your body with the beautiful energy of the Sambal. You can focus that Sambal as though you were putting a flashlight onto those places. And the light and the warmth and the healing energy just flows into the body. And you create that healing energy in your heart center, in this creative, connected flow energy. And then exhale and go into the ebb and allow the energy to go out through your feet or through the top of your head to the universe. You can give the energy to Mother Earth or to Father Universe, however you wish, whatever works best for you. Some people like to send feelings of hurt from their heart center right out the back of their heart, right through the back of their shoulders, where we also hold a lot of tension and energy sometimes. Another deep breath in and exhale. Now, can you learn to breathe in the beautiful light energy and exhale out the tension and make a bridge between the two energies in your body? And in this way you learn to become aware when you're holding tension, when you're feeling a fear or an emotional detonator from our past traumas and experiences. And you can go right inside your heart center. And if you practice this, you will be able to be there in self-love and awakened consciousness, to be the responsible adult who can parent the inner child when those feelings are detonated at any moment in your life. You never, ever need to suffer through holding those emotions in your body any longer. They will come up. They'll be coming up for the rest of your life because this is part of the human evolutionary process. But at some point, when you feel them, you will recognize it, and you will be able to transfer your energy from the Sambal, from your loving center, and move it into that place. Now let's just take a deep breath in. Bring your mind back up into your head and open your eyes. This is a beautiful exercise you can use at any moment. Practice it and learn to use it on your own. You know, we don't need guided meditations. We can use these tools at any moment, even with our eyes open, even when we're driving, even when we're talking to people, because we need to have these tools handy at every moment. You know, when you're driving your car and all of a sudden someone cuts you off in traffic and it just detonates this anger at how rude people are, or how you just feel the energy. They just throw an energy ball at you, and right in that moment, it's just boom, there's my heart center, there's my symbol, there's my protection, and I pull that beautiful energy into my body and I exhale out anything I've absorbed, anything that's not for my highest and greatest life, my highest good and my greatest life. And just exhale out and you've released it. But this way you're learning to recognize, and that way you don't hold that energy in your body. We hold that energy in our body, in our solar plexus, in our shoulders, in our neck, in our knees, and tension in our waist. And our lives are more on the animal survival level, which creates a lot more stress hormone and a lot more unhealthy chemicals in our body, because those chemicals are produced from that fear response, which is natural, and it's there to help us heal and stay healthy and safe. But it's not something we want to have detonated too frequently, because it creates unhealthy substances in our bodies, and the best way to have a health in your life is to become more and more consciously aware and connected with the peace and the love and the balance. Have a great day.